Well, I just heard the Red Line shop got a delivery of those fresh cut laser pieces. Let's see what old Jonathan's up to in here. Hey, John Hoop, what you doing, bud?
Well, got some new laser cut pieces, fresh off the laser. We're gonna go ahead and roll these into some GT hoppers today.
Awesome, GT. GT what?
GT77. It's kind of our bread and butter. It's the small broadcast spreader that we make for ATVs, UTVs, lawnmowers. We've actually made the same unit in the same configuration longer than I've been alive.
Holy smokes.
But today it got much easier. Now that I have these laser cut pieces, you know, I can go through with my roller, no problem. And roll them right out. And I'm going to show you what it was like before we had these nice laser cut pieces. Okay. Now they come in perfectly shaped within a thousandth of an inch, and they're really easy to work with. They're clean lines. I don't have any burrs or rough edges. Before this happened, let's step over to the old table here and I'll show you what I had to work with before.
Okay, cool, dude.
The metal used to come in 4x8 sheets, and then I used to have to shear them down into small pieces, you know. This has actually been sheared about 4 times now. You had to shear it for length, and you had to shear this angle, you had to shear this angle, and they all have to be correct. One wrong shear or just a small mistake in your setting up of the stops and the shear, you can definitely ruin a whole piece of metal real quick.
Sounds like it was a headache, but you were doing it anyhow.
We were done it that way since the beginning. You know, I would take this metal, once we got everything sheared and went through all that, I would take a pattern. I would have to hold it up here, and I would literally take a scratch awl and have to scribe all of my lines in here. And then we cut all this out. I'm sure they did it by hand originally, but then we moved to an electric cutter, but we had to cut out all the radiuses, okay, just to get a piece of metal to start doing what I'm doing over there.
That's a lot of work just for materials.
It was.
I think one of the coolest things about this company, though, is how raw material shows up and then it sends out the door into this awesome piece of equipment. That is one of the coolest things I've found since coming here.
I'm really proud to be able to manufacture something still in the United States. There's not too many things that are actually built here anymore, you know, and I'm proud to be able to do it.
Well, we do a good job here. I've seen it. And we sell a lot of these pieces.
We do. This is probably the most popular unit that we have. I think we sell, you know, maybe up to a couple thousand of them a year.
Holy smokes. You want to run me through the process?
Sure.
The new
process.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and put this by the wayside. We're not going to be doing that anymore. All right. So first we're going to go ahead and roll the piece. All right. Take a flat piece. Okay. We're going to put it in this roller. It's just going to put a slight curve to it. All right. We need a slight curve. That way we've got the start. Once you get so far through, you have to work the handle, turn the piece. That way we come out square on each edge. Kind of hard to do, but it's very necessary. If you put it in there at an angle, you're going to end up with a rolled edge. It's going to be really hard to work with it.
Whoa.
Okay. Once we've got this piece, we'll go ahead and shut this machine off. We're going to work to the next one. Turn this on, and this is going to actually give us our lift edge. We're going to have an edge right down the seam here. On the top side, or the front side as we call it, the lift's going to go up. We're going to run it right through, and just come out that end.
Oh, neat.
Perfectly laid over.
That is so cool.
Now we have a front side. I'm going to do a back side real quick so we can see them together. Okay. This would be the back side. A little different, but similar. It's going to go ahead and roll. You want to come out even all the way across. This is actually going to be the opposite of the front side when we go to the next seamer. You know, you watch, we did the front side up. On the back side, we're going to go down. That way they fit together. now comes the fun part. We have a front side and we have a back side. We're going to go back over to the table. I'm going to move my pattern. Sorry, all the machinery's pretty loud.
Industry is not silent.
All right, so we've got our back side, we've got our front side. Now we're going to make them together. And it's going to look easy, but I assure you it's not. You seam it in, slide it down, and then I'm going to use this brass hammer right here. And seam it together, over, roll it down. It's important to make your seams line up good when we go to the roller. Okay, now we have a basic hopper structure. Okay, now we're going to have to flatten this seam just to seam it together and make sure that it's good and tight. We're going to go over to this machine, which is an air-operated machine. You slide your hopper right over.
Oh, cool.
And it flattens that seam.
It looks like a bad place to have a finger.
Yes, no fingers in here. And number one thing, no fingers ever anywhere through here. Matter of fact, I put it in, I take my left hand completely out of the equation. Okay. Now we have a seamed together, sturdy hopper. All right. So we're going to go over to the rolling machines and I'm going to show you how we roll this thing. Doing this, I'm going to switch gloves because this can be a little tough on your hands. These gloves are good for actually working the metal. And when you go to roll the metal, you want a good pair of leather gloves.
Those look a little bit more sturdy.
They are. Now you're still going to wear them and we replace them quite often, but they're definitely what you want when you're doing the rolling machines. We set this at 3 inches for our first lip. We're going to turn this on. As a matter of fact, we're going to turn all 3 of them on. That way we can just do it all at once. This is typically how I do it. That's your first roll. This is your lip. And this over here is your crimp. Alright. Here we go. This is going to go kind of fast. Your piece in all the way up to the stop. You're going to work the pedal. And it's going to put a ring 3 inches in. That stiffens up the hopper. That gives it a good rigidity to the hopper. Okay, first ring. Now we're going to go ahead and do the top lip. How we do that is, use this roller. We go around once just to kind of start our lip. And then when you get back to where you started, we're going to flip it up. And we're going to roll it around vertically. And that rolls the lip over. That way we can work with it with the crimp. So we made that lip and we rolled it over all in one machine and one set of dies. We go over to the crimper. I could stick it in there and it would probably do just fine, but I always tap my seams. I was taught to do it years ago, and I just cannot get away from it. It may be a little unnecessary, but I want to make sure that lip stays over, because if it folds out, this piece is junk. You've done all this work, and that piece is literally a piece of scrap. So you got to make sure that everything goes right every time. All right, here we go. This puts a nice crimped edge. You want to go light on the crimp. Alright. And the other step, hammers, I like to hammer my edges. Some people do it with pliers at the build station. I was taught this way, and I prefer this method. So we took a piece of raw galvanized and turned it into a nice GT hopper.
That is so cool.
Now, we might as well take it one step further and go ahead and put it on the base since you're here, since you've got the video rolling. We'll turn on this rolling machine. And we're going to do a ring. see if this fits on the base. Fits right on here. Ready? Just gotta give it a little tap. And bring it on in and take a look inside. We're pretty close. You know, we'll tighten it up a little bit when we secure it to the hopper, but we've got a nice base, nice ring, good clearance. This is going to be a good seeder.
Heck yeah.
And that's the basic process to doing a hopper on a GT77.
Well, it seems like a lot of work, but you can't beat handmade.
You can't. You can't. Everybody's tried to copy this thing. Everybody has tried to mimic, you know, the GT77. But the one thing they can't compete with is us actually doing it here in the factory, putting our blood, sweat, and tears into this machine and making it work correctly. You know, you can't just build these on a line. You can't do this, you know, on an assembly line overseas. They just don't work out. People have tried. You know, there's something about doing it here in America and taking the time and effort to do it the right way. You know, that's where we shine here at Castle.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much, man. You have a good one.
You're welcome. You too.